on, we're warming up.
So get the show going, man.
Come on, baby, let's get it.
First Take is presented by 5 Hour Energy.
The only time that I talk about it is when I get asked about it. So it's hard, you know, it's like I don't even know the word for it. It's like a double-edged sword, you know, I can't really, I don't want to talk about it, but if I get asked about it, I feel like I have to answer the question. So I'm really ready to put it all behind me. I think everybody's moved on. I've moved on, they've moved on. It's just time, you know, this is where I'm at. I'm at the Cleveland Browns now. This is my team, and I'm excited about that.
OBJ with the fresh new cut. What's going on, everybody? We are 43 days out. Football right around the corner. A lot of camps continuing to open today. Speaking of football, my guys in the house, Marcus Spears, Booger McFarland. How we doing?
We're doing good, baby.
Yeah?
They make it look so good on TV when training camp about to go down. I just almost had a panic attack looking at that sun out.
You got the anxiety,
and
like you
them damn ladders, and you up early and go to bed late. Training camp the worst. I used to almost need counseling before training camp.
Yeah, it's terrible. The conditioning tests are the worst.
It's terrible.
Listen,
But
Marcus, we're lucky we got time with this guy big time.
Oh, wow, here we go. Here we go.
I'm glad you said it.
Here we
How
go.
Glad you said it, because I was going to say it.
Okay.
Yes,
Look
it's all
at
good.
you, brand new.
I'm not going to act brand new, but if y'all want to call me,
You're in that
Okay.
booth.
go ahead.
You're in the booth. Double booth.
Exactly. Speaking of brand new, that was Odell leaving the past in his past, officially shutting down the Giants talk, focusing on his new squad as Browns camp gets underway with star players OBJ, Jarvis Landry, Baker Mayfield, and a rookie head coach in Freddie Kitchens. Our friend Josina Anderson tells us why the Browns believe this is a recipe for success.
2 words, Baker Mayfield. And the fact that the Browns feel like getting behind Baker as their unquestioned leader is the absolute way to achieve that. Now, Brown source told me that head coach Freddie Kitchens told his staff in a meeting towards the end of mandatory camp, quote, this team is going to go the way that Baker Mayfield goes, period. And that came in response to Kitchens learning that at least one vet had approached Baker to express their displeasure in his blunt and public comments in regards to Duke Johnson's trade demands. But a Brown source said, listen, it's not Baker's age, but his production that makes him the leader, because he's going to take us where we need to go. And he said, you know, the difference between Baker, Sam Darnold, some of these other younger quarterbacks is his attitude and the fact that you cannot approach Baker, call it out if you don't know what you're talking about. And that includes the coaching staff. But he says, you know what, that's a good thing because he has the it factor in being able to bring us together in good times and or bad.
Joe, appreciate that. All right, Booger, we know the deal. A lot of talent on this squad, especially at the skill positions. A lot of big personalities on the squad. So let me ask you this. Do you feel like they will live up to the hype, or is this squad potentially going to implode?
I don't know if they'll implode, but I don't think they're going to live up to the hype because the hype basically has them being a Super Bowl contender. I don't think they're that. I think what we're trying to build off of is they were 7-8-1 last year. They finished third in the North. So let's figure out how we can go from that to winning the North and now getting a home playoff game on Lake Erie. Let's look at the pieces. We're going to start with Baker Mayfield. If you know Baker Mayfield's history, former walk-on, Texas Tech, Oklahoma, the whole nine, he's been a little bit of a malcontent back in college. He's changed everything, and now he's become the leader of a franchise, #1 overall pick, and now in his second year, he's got to lead a group of men, a young team led by 2 fiery wide receivers in Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham Jr. That's a lot to ask. I think the Browns are a very, very talented football team, offensively and defensively. But football games aren't won by taking puzzle pieces and putting them together in the offseason. If that was the case, the Eagles, the Dream Team Eagles, they would have won. That didn't work. In order to get a football team, you have to have leadership. You have to have people that are going to lead. But more importantly, you got to have people that are going to follow. So if Baker is leading, do we believe that Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham Jr. are going to follow Baker? Are the 2 6-year all-pro receivers going to follow the second-year quarterback? Hadn't even started a full year. Are they going to follow the second-year quarterback? So I have trouble believing that that's going to happen. And overall, Freddie Kitchens, we haven't seen him coach a full season yet. So all the things about the hype, do we believe the hype? The hype is they're going to go to the Super Bowl. The hype is they're going to win the North. I think the best team in the North is still the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay.
When you look at Mike Tomlin, Ben Roethlisberger, Juju Smith-Schuster, it's all put together by the GM, Kevin Colbert. Now, that's no disrespect to John Dorsey, Freddie Kitchens, and Baker Mayfield. But I'm going to go with what I know. I grew up in the country. Mom always said, trust what you know. Being a Super Bowl contender, I think they finished second in the North behind Pittsburgh.
They'll live up to the hype, but the hype for the Cleveland Browns is making the playoffs. Like we
No,
are we sure that that's the hype?
That's the hype.
Because they haven't made the playoffs since I was born. That's number one. Two is this. Everybody is talking about the Super Bowl. Do we realize how hard the Super Bowl is to get to? Like, I understand it, but it's so cool to jump on this ship about the hype for the and go to the Super Bowl. If that was the case, all right, we wouldn't have the New England Patriots playing in 9. This established organization is tough to get there, right? So they will live up to the hype. The Cleveland Browns will make the playoffs this year. I don't think they win their division either. I'm with you on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Here's my biggest question for the Cleveland Browns, though, is once you get to the playoffs, right? Once you do have a successful season, by and large, what we think a successful season is for the Cleveland Browns, what do you do when you get there? Because you're not judged on making the playoffs. I saw a Carolina Panthers team win 7 games and go to the playoffs. Yeah. The league can shake out to where you make the playoffs but don't hit your ceiling and reach your full potential. And then this too, I have to see Baker Mayfield lead an entire season, Bug. Like we having all of these discussions about how great he was and take nothing away from what Baker did last year. Baker came in with no chips stacked against him. What was there to lose? Nothing. But the hype will be warranted.
You want a team with Keyshawn Johnson, right? Keyshawn,
yeah.
T.O., like you play with all these big. You don't get these guys on your team, number one type receivers, and say, we just want to make the playoffs. Like, the hype is not about – they don't go out and trade for Odell Beckham Jr., to pair him with Jarvis Landry. They don't go out and get Olivier Vernon on defense just to make the playoffs. Like, LeBron wasn't just trying to come to Cleveland just to get in the playoffs. They want to win a championship. This is a sports town.
Yep.
So I understand what you're saying, but if we're to sit here and believe, if we want America to believe that the only thing that the Browns want to do this year is make the playoffs, I think America going to call us a lie today.
But
they want to do more.
But that's the hype. Everybody wants to do more. The Buffalo Bills want to do more, but they ain't going to do it. All right, here's the deal. The Cleveland Browns, a successful season with this team, first year together, is getting into the playoffs, bro.
That's you. Yeah. That's not the media. That's not the fans. Booger's got it right. Vegas has them winning the AFC North.
I know what Vegas has them doing.
It's that they're going to the Super Bowl. You're irrational. You're saying that it's getting to the playoffs. The rest of the world isn't.
Molly, our job is to make sure the rest of the world understands how hard it is to get to the damn Super Bowl.
But I'm saying making the playoffs, I don't think would be enough for this Browns team.
It won't be satisfaction for this team. But what I'm saying is, if the Browns make the playoffs, when the last time the Browns made the playoffs? Somebody look that up. The people in the back, look that up. If the Browns make the playoffs, they can look at that and say, we put together this team with these young players, with the opportunity to build on what we did this year. Other people playing football. Everybody talking like everybody going to come out there and say.
To answer your question.
02. I was a sophomore in college.
Yeah.
Now I'm 36, grown man with 3 kids working at ESPN. See?
Good God. All right.
But they going to the Super Bowl. They going to the Super Bowl.
That's the hype, though.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Come on. They didn't do all this in Cleveland just to make the playoffs. I mean, if they could stay with Hugh Jackson
OBJ
to make the playoffs.
Just to make the playoffs.
Okay.
I'm with you. All right. Let's leave it on that note, guys. We are just getting started. It appears Chiefs Kingdom is at full strength with Tyreek Hill is in camp. Does that make them a lock to return to the AFC Championship? We'll get into that. Next, one guy